Hello, team. This is Jose. So I wanted to make a quick video, which it was requested by the member to explain how I end up choosing tickers. Pretty much my decisions, and then what comes up to be in the alerts because obviously we always lock in profits. So that is something that I want to explain to you guys, but a quick video that I want to explain to you, based on the screens that you see here, and we're gonna go step by steps. So first steps is reality. The reality is that knowledge is pretty much provides my decision making. So but what I mean by knowledge is what I have learned, what I have gathered in my, in my brain, in basing on what my decision is, how I can break things down, what works, what doesn't work, and that it is it's all based on what I've been through, based on history and for how long I've been in the market. So that is what the reality is. If you don't spend enough time in the market, you're not going to see rhythm. You're not going to see patterns. So that is number one key is to learn, to pretty much to see different algorithms and to see different kind of patterns that can indicate you that hey, that's not going to work. That's going to flush. Hey, that's going to put me in profit. Let me try it out. And that's pretty much how everything, ends up in being the reality check of knowledge. So, second, broker. Webull is my favorite broker for the, based on, I guess, so what it provides, which is what I need, how I put things down, and my decision makings in my tradings, how I find tickers, how everything is just organized, adjust. Except the option part, that's the only thing I don't like about. But other than that, the rest of it, it's phenomenal. Way better than Webull, way better than many other platforms that provides on phones. So other than that, Webull is my favorite one, which you can download here in any app. With what I can tell you is also is if you want to use the application, which is the app for the phone version, Android, or not sure about Apple, but I use Android here. You will have to download BlueStack. BlueStack here is it gives you the option to use your pretty much um app on your phone on your computer. Huge advantage. So that alone right there is going to give you the opportunity to for you to to be able to use the Webull app versions in your computer. What I like about that is because for the reason being that the options that it gives you in the phone version, it's a lot more better, and it gives me better more ability on what my choosing is when it comes to trading. So long story short is if you want to trade is because when I say Webull, places what I need to look for, specific tickers, how I look for things, my charting when it comes to decision making and all that, it comes to my broker Webull. So I use that when it comes to the decision making in overall. So if you want to use the Webull version that I use when it comes to the app version, you will have to download BlueStack. And then after download BlueStack, download the new version of Webull, not in here, but in a different Google app that you can download the new version that has came out so you can be able to use it on BlueStack and then be able to do this, what I do here. This is the app for the phone version. Now, a quick explanation here when it comes down to decision making. So Webull, I use Webull. Like I said, BlueStack, boom, 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 comes down to this too. This two here explains pretty much how I place things. So when it comes to how I located ticker, I use different things. I kind of I use about 4 ways. I use a scanner, the top gainer, most active, and personal watch list collection. So what I'm talking about that is this is the all stocks personal watch list collection. This is my personal, not my personal account, but this is what I use as a small account which I introduce anything into my YouTube, which is I can use for any type of ticker, show you guys the support and resistance and all that. And, and when it comes to decision making, is this is the account that pretty much is locates all type of tickers, the scanners, and what make my decision making. So what I said is scanner, all skills and all that type of stuff is comes from Webull. So scanner comes for first, right? Well, actually no. Let's show this ones. All stocks. All stocks is this collection that I done, throughout my trading. That if I see a ticker that that I like, or that I see that I'm watching it, that it's doing pretty good, I keep it. And then I know that he probably won't do good today, but he could do good another day, then I keep it. That helps me to decide for later in the future. So meaning that he won't move today, but 5 days from now, another ticker is not going to move, but this one's going to move, and that's going to help me to make money on that specific ticker. So that is why I collect every ticker, and this is one way of me finding, a specific way of tickers. It's personal collections. It's how I deal with one, history-wise, I collect it. I don't just let it go. I make sure that I, watch it for next time. That as long, I have a huge list of what I have collected, I'll have my own personal watch list that I can, end up giving me good options to trade on. Now, top gainer. This is top gainers. When I'm talking about top gainers, what Webull provides, Webull gives you the top gainers and it gives you the most active. Top gainers means is what it's the top percentage wise in change, in the day once the market opens. And most active is who has the highest volume for the day. So two keys, it's important who has the highest one for the day and who has the highest volume. That is super important because it's two different factors. Sometimes you're going to notice that the highest volume is not going to be in the top gainer, but it's there. You get what I'm saying? So it's getting ready. But if just focusing on one type of way, you're not going to find setups that's going to lead to a certain, position. So what I'm saying is most active and top gainers. So what I do is I look through top gainers and I also look through most active. Remember what key is here is knowledge. So what I'm saying is if you learn what sets up what leads to what, how it's supposed to be, how volume's supposed to hold, get you to a certain level in the resistance and support, that's going to make you a decision making and overall when it comes to what knowledge. Now, this is like I said, it was a quick personal watch list of what I use, how to locate my tickers, which is all stocks, my collection, top gainer, and I use the most active and scanner. Scanner is I'm gonna do you a quick scanner that I use. It just it's actually it's in this one. It's not on this one. Let me see. We're gonna go to screener, and when you go to 100K volume, what I like about 100K volume is I can change it here. Percentage like price. I can change it to volume. So volume means that I can go from top volume of 600K, and I scroll down, and then I make sure that I'm watching at the right ones that are building up, and it helps identify. Like example, this one. It has a nice little setup. First one that we found, right? Because of my screener. Setup RTL. And it wasn't one of the swings that I'm posting anyways, but it has a nice little setup to run, $9, 830, 850. And then it's all ORPM. It's another nice setup. You see how it's just finding nice setups? And then let's go for the next one. Seat. I'm talking about, look, nice setups. And this is what I'm talking about. 100K volume is because it's a buildup of the volume. And that's not something that I'm going to go over in a bit. But other than that, this is a scanner that I use, which is 100K volume. And 100K volume, just a quick little tip, how to set up Webull. If you use a Webull, then you'll be able to kind of identify that a Webull is going to give you, give me 1 second. Okay, when it goes to Modify, this is what I have. $0 to $10. Volume, 100K to 600K. United States regions only. Nothing else. Okay, just that. Other than that, every morning I use that scanner, and then I go by volume, who's building up, who has a nice chart, and I go with that. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to how I locate tickers, remember it's a scanner, personal scanner, top gainer, most active, and personal watches collection, which is how I collected throughout the time. Now, let's go to the next step. What matters, the most towards my decision. When it comes to a decision making, you have to understand is you have to, gaps. Gaps is important. You don't want to have gaps throughout the ticker, especially after market opens. Because if that happens after market opens having gaps, it gives you a potential that it can, end up closing into the gap or end up losing all its gain. So after, you want to always avoid gaps. And then another thing is, okay, I guess my next step of the decision making is building volume. Like I said, I was showing you my scanner. My scanner gives me 100K volume here, and I want to make sure that I want to start with the low. Because guess what? You want to end with a what? High. So what I'm saying is volume builds. If it starts with 100K, 400K, guess what the volume ends? Let's say, for example, 1 million, because it started 600K. 700K probably, he ended up at 3 million. But guess what the chart ended up? He ended up at where? At a higher high, at a new HOD, at a, the trend continuation, all because, the volume is being built and the trend is being built. And actually, the pressure of the volume, it's upwards. So that's another why you have to have that kind of mentality of volume building. Now, let's go for an example here of top gainers. And in top gainers, you're going to notice here is you want, when it comes to high time frames, you want to make sure, or actually here, the screening was a good example. But I'm gonna show you about no gaps. High time frames, remember, when it comes to high time frames, you have to make sure that you're looking at the daily, you're looking at the weekly, how it's handling, how it's, this is just okay, this is different volume. So let's keep going down. Like I'm talking about, if you want to make sure that the lower times is going to continue sometimes up or down, whatever, you have to make sure you have to look at the high time frames, daily, weekly, 4 hours. You can really expect 5 minutes to give you what the day is going to do. So you have to make sure that you decide what exactly by looking at the daily, weekly, and even the setup looks real nice, right? But it also looks like it's taking a little bit too long. So if you're not expecting much action yet, and in the little continuation, slow continuation, that gives you the idea that, okay, you're not expecting much. But if there's a lot of action, like example, this one, wait, bigger candles, then you're expecting something bigger throughout the week. So you're going to give, more attention. You're expecting something better throughout, every single week. This is why sometimes you have to identify candle. You have to identify how much you have moved, how big it's been, how big it's going to get. And, it's just so many factors that I can't explain in one video, but it's also something that you have to kind of, take in consideration. So when it comes to this, high time frames, that's, decision making. So what I mean by gaps, let me go something about gaps because I don't want to make this video too long. Gaps. When it comes to gap, remember, market opens at 8:30 in the morning, which is my time, Central Times. New York time, 9:30 in the morning. Indicating before then, whatever happens in pre-market, which opens at 3:30 my time, Central Time, and he opens at 4:30 in the morning in New York time. Whatever happens before 9:30 in the morning, 8:30 my time, does not count towards the market. At least towards the sum, we're here, but it gives you a good idea that it's creating a gap. So whatever happens before the market opens, nothing counts because it's not being printed in the, in the chart. So if it's not being printed in the chart, you're having a gap. So a gap means that if you go to here, for example, let's go to top gainers and then go to pre-market, UBX. You see how UBX, we're going to go back to 2 minutes and then we're going to go to pre-market. You see how pre-market over here, it was sitting. This is going to be a good example too as well. Let's zoom in here at at UBX. You're going to notice that if I were to put how high it went right here, 184, you're going to notice the gap. You ready? Boom. You see where the gap is? Previous day was the closing of what? This is a good example of gap. Previous day was closing off 85 cents. When did he open the next candle? He opened up at 183. That's a huge gap. What did he do throughout the day? He opened at 183 means that he opened up right here, guys. That's too high of a gap. You don't want to be able to, do that and attack something that he needs to cover the gap. So what he did is throughout the day, cover the gap. Full downtrend. You want to make sure you attack an uptrend does not have a gap, and that helps you identify uptrends. So, strong uptrends, that buyer is going to feel confidence to attack it because he does not have a gap. So long story short is, well, guess what the ticker did? He end up, so if we go back to here, he end up, downtrending throughout the day because he opened up so high, which is, 183 at the end of the day. So that's bad. That's what gap is. So, pretty much overall, last thing of the video is learn. Please learn how to, build knowledge, learn what you need to see, learn what your brain needs to see, learn how you, need to make better decisions, how you're going to be like, okay, I don't need to attack that. Let me attack this because this looks better. Let me avoid that because it doesn't look good. Let me kind of, no, I'm chasing that. Let me get away from that. Look, this setup, it looks better. Let me attack that setup. So many factors that you're going to have to learn. Adjust. Not just what I mean by adjust, then that's the next step. Adjust is if you're going to see a step, you need to adjust towards it. Not everything's going to work in the market. There's going to be things that you're going to have to, adjust to it, and by improving little things. And that'll be the next step. Adjusting is that you got to accept that something is not working, and the next thing you need to do is improvise. How you can improve that the way of thinking when it comes to the market. So long story short is so many factors here. So when it comes to the last step is improve. Please improve. Don't think that everything is supposed to just stay a specific way. If something's not working, hey, change it. Hey, let's do something different. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't work, well, you know what to do is, hey, let's try it again and see if that works again, right? And then, you keep improvising until what works and what doesn't. And like I said, I provide and I try to give you what works. And then, that's what I'm going to try to, I show you Log and Profit all the time. So it's going to be up to you where you want to learn, how you want to learn, and then pretty much, how you make your decisions at the end of the day. So last part. Not everything you try will work. So you need to adjust, improve, and learn to be better. And then that's my main key. Like I said, not everything, remember, works. So you have to go what works. Some things are going to be like, man, this is not working for me. It's not working for me. Like, let me improvise. And then that's how you end up improving things. So, yeah, that's it for the day, guys. So anything, like I said, I just wanted to kind of, adjust a little bit things, how I was able to choose things and how I'm able to choose tickers. But overall, what helps me the most is my knowledge in high time frames, uptrends, decisions, volume, momentum. It's just so many factors, man. Gaps, float, how fast it is, if it has options or not. But everything becomes one. How much I know. So, other than that, I wish you guys a great day. And yeah, guys, peace.